Hi creatives, and welcome back to Agency Academy. Today I'm going to reveal the 5 things and actually one bonus tip at the end that I wish I knew when I first became a designer. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Malin and I worked as a brand designer, illustrator and package designer for about 7 years now, something like that. Me and my partner started our business 2015 when we were still at university. Since then, there has been a lot of lessons learned, lots of people I've talked to, so I thought I would share it with you guys. So the very first one that has actually been something I worked a lot on recently is to be a lot more direct looking for clients. So what I mean is, when we started, we kind of were in this wave of creating content and just thinking of it as never selling but only being helpful. And I think this is something that I really took to heart, but when you're doing social media and marketing, you are trying to put things out there that are helpful, but you never exactly know if it's going to work or not. What we have started doing recently is we've been starting to really research our customers and find out the exact pain points that they have, and then to write specific project pitches that we can actually write to them in a sort of cold email, but it's a very well researched cold email. We actually took this course called Ethical Cold Pitching a while back, which is by a person called Bree Weber, and she has this excellent course, which if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. Basically, it's saying how instead of doing cold pitching like it typically is done, where you're sending like 100 emails and hoping for like one person to respond to a generic message saying, "Hi, I'm a creative and I do this," you're basically really going into depth of who it is that you're trying to target and getting to know them as people almost, so their pain points, and suggesting a project basically. And it has been really good to feel much more in control of this way of getting clients. And you're also making sure that the person that you're contacting or the company, they're actually the right fit. So my first tip therefore is to be less passive and less just focused on social media, and to be a lot more active in your network, to ask people if they need work, ask for referrals, ask for testimonials, and write people directly. And it can be a little uncomfortable, and maybe you won't get responses for some of them or many of them, but it does pay off, and it's a lot more, it's more active. I always feel more in control, which makes me feel less kind of stuck in this up and down of lots of work and then no work and a panic. So that has been really, really good for me and our business. My second tip is to be a lot more open with your values. And what I mean by that is, I'm someone who really values being an activist in many areas. I mean, my education is in ecology and sustainability, but I'm also quite active when it comes to things like feminism and environmentalism in general. It's all connected. And so for me, it was something that when we started, I was only 22, 23, something like that. And I was a little scared already that people were going to think that there were some things about me, my experience level, or something else that wasn't quite trustworthy. And I was a little scared to be very forward with my values. What I have noticed is, when you just post content, let's say branding tips or packaging tips, it just becomes like one in the masses. And so in the last couple of years, I've become a lot more open with what it is that I do, what I value, and who I am as a person. Of course, you have to do it in a tactful way that doesn't alienate people a lot, but you can do it in a way where it's better to be the exact perfect fit for someone, that person who is going to value an activist in my case, than just being someone who is kind of mixing in with a crowd. So if you feel like your values are really well aligned with your clients, which I think is always much easier to work that way, don't be afraid to share your values and engage people in a positive conversation about stuff that you care about. Because getting clients is always such a big topic, my third one is also a little bit about getting clients. And that is to try to focus on networking that is more related to partnerships and relationships, and less on how can I get my exact next client. So a big thing for me has been partnerships with other creative agencies, like let's say a web developer or copywriter, something like that, so that when I work on a packaging project, either I can be brought in on a project with one of my partners, or I can bring them in and add a lot more value to my clients. So being a lot more focused on how can I build these really strong partnerships and connections with people has actually brought me way more work than when I was just going to networking events to find direct clients from that specific event. So that would be my next tip of something I wish I knew. The fourth tip is to make a lot more time for strategy and marketing. When it comes to these activities that are kind of working on the business, at least I have found that it's very easy to put them kind of on the back burner when you have a lot of client work, and then it's easy to end up in these kind of boom and bust cycles. So what I have typically done is I spend time to create a strategy I really believe in, but then I don't give myself enough time to actually execute and implement the strategy. And then you can't really know if it was going to work perfectly or not. So I really think it's good to start creating blocks in your calendar specifically for like content creation and implementation of your strategy, because it's really going to be something that is going to help you a lot in long term. Do you need to work on SEO? Do you need to work on your network? Do you need to work on your skills? And right, so all these things are going to help you become a better creative and someone who also feels a little bit less stressed in your work, more confident in your strategy. The fifth one, before we move to the bonus tip, might be something you hear a lot, and that is to charge more. I think it's one of those things where we always feel scared to charge more. And I know this is not a universal experience, but I think a lot of us, I mean, please, if you have the same fear, you can leave me a comment to say how you've been thinking about it and how you've been tackling it, because for me, it's been an incremental thing where I have slowly been raising my prices, and that has felt a little bit more comfortable. But I have many times looked at projects after I finished them and said, "Ah, I should have charged so much more." And so part of it is keeping track of how much time you're actually spending and how much you're charging, and if that's working. And if it's not, raise your prices. When we charge more, we have so much more time for things that matter in our business. I mean, from everything from doing the accounting to actually working on that marketing strategy and content that's going to help us long term. And now on to the bonus tip. And this is one for you who are very ambitious and who like to make lists, but who can sometimes get stressed out by said list. So I definitely fall into this category. I see, infinite things I want to do in my business. Everything from fixing the YouTube banner to updating my SEO to fixing a better marketing calendar or working with my client process. When you have this, it can feel like I'll just push through for a couple days, really work hard, and then I'll get through all of the stuff that I want to do, and then I'll be able to be on a better page of my business. While sometimes it can be nice to have a power day or a power couple hours or something, I just want to say that I think it's often a fallacy that we can push through this to-do list. There's always going to be new things that we want to do, and so don't forget to prioritize your life outside of your business more, or at least as much as your work. I know a lot of us who work in creative fields, we do it because we are passionate about it, but it doesn't mean that we should sacrifice any of the things that we find, rewarding in our lives, like spending time with family or with hobbies or sleeping. So make sure that you are not trying to just always push through your to-do list to get to the end of it, because I don't think there is, or maybe even should be, an end of the to-do list. We can always keep improving and learning, but we shouldn't see it as a threat or see it as negative to not finish that to-do list. I really hope you found this helpful. If you made it all the way to the end, please leave me a comment with a little star emoji maybe. And I'm really curious to know a little bit more about what it is that you're working on, if you want videos on a specific topic, and maybe around process, selling, anything that you're curious about. If you liked the video, please make sure to like it, to subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see when we post next time. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your projects.